I am pumped to share all of these shows with you. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing with you some amazing shows to binge watch this summer or fall, winter, spring, whatever time you're watching this. Hopefully they're still on Netflix. They definitely will be if you're watching this the first time I'm putting it up. So I'm going to be sharing with you 10 shows to binge watch if you're bored, or if you're up in the middle of the night, or if you're postpartum. That's my favorite time to save shows to binge watch, is when you're postpartum, because really you just sit and nurse all day long and you're like, oh, I'm so bored. So I thought I would share my favorite shows with you. So let's kick it off with my favorite that I've seriously been so obsessed with for the past, I don't know, it only took me like a week to watch the whole series. I don't know how many episodes there are. I think there are like 13. Is that right? I don't know, somewhere around there. It is called The Staircase. And if you haven't heard of this, oh my gosh, it's all over Netflix. And if you have seen it and haven't looked up Owl Theory, it's gonna blow your mind. Okay, guys. So let me start over. I heard people talking about this and I was like, well, oh, another documentary on Netflix. Who cares? No, you're gonna care. Just watch the trailer. That might be enough for you. So basically, let me condense it down for you. So it's a proper documentary. It's kind of slow, so you have to stay with it. But there are so many twists and turns, and it's it's like Law and Order in real life, because it's a true story about Mike Peterson. He's an older author. You might know him. He wrote like Vietnam books and stuff. But it's enthralling. It really like keeps you like there. Even though it's kind of slow, you're just like, oh my gosh. First of all, you're like, oh my gosh, this really happened. And second of all, it's about his wife died and we don't know why. You don't know why. No one knows why. She was alone, pretty much. But then there's a trial and everyone's like, did Mike do it? That's the husband. And then you're like, no, there's no way. And then stuff happens in the documentary where you're like, yeah, maybe. There's so many things, and then at the end of it, you kind of get an answer, and then you kind of don't, and then you think it's over, and it's not, and it keeps going, and you're like, when is this gonna end? This poor man. And then you're thinking, wait, is this a poor man, or did he do it? Who done it? We don't know. At the end of it, I was left with a lot of questions. So, of course, I went to Google, and then found Owl Theory, and I won't ruin it for you here, but look it up, and your mind is gonna be blown, and you're gonna be like, yeah, yes, that is what happened. Yes, I have an answer. But then for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that poor man. Watch it. You won't regret it. Maybe you will, but it's really, really good. There's a reason why people are hyping about it and talking about it. It's because it's awesome. Okay, next show, totally changing courses. It's called Riverdale. It's a teen drama. That's kind of my thing. I don't know why. I'm 30 years old. I shouldn't be watching shows like this. And first of all, like all these teen dramas, they're in high school, but they're 20 years old. They're like mid-20s, and the actors anyway. And you're like, when did these high schoolers find time to do homework? I swear to God, in high school, the one thing I worried about was like, do I have enough white eyeliner to wear tomorrow and enough body glitter? Body glitter lotion. Do you feel me? Okay, I am a child of the 90s, clearly. Okay, so Riverdale is like Pretty Little Liars meets Gossip Girl meets like Pleasantville meets it's just weird. It's different, and there's so many twists and turns. It's not like, obviously this kind of stuff, well, maybe it could happen in real life, but there's so much stuff that it's just a show. It's for entertainment purposes, obviously, but okay, so basically it's a whodunit with all the extras. There's the guy from 90210, there's the guy from The Sweet Life, which looks like one of my cousins. It's so weird. And then there's the guy from Scream, and who else is on it? Oh, the girl from Dawson Creek. Not really, but it looks like her, doesn't it? Do you agree? And there's so many actors, and you're like, what? And when I first started watching, I was like, wow. Okay, so there's 2 seasons of this, so if you have 2 seasons to lose of your life, go ahead and watch it. Sometimes I watch it when I'm falling asleep, and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have turned this on because it's kind of dark. There's a lot of like eerie stuff that goes on, so if you're into that. The second season is much more like, eerie than the first, but you might like it. Okay, changing gears again. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, is that what it's called? Yes, it's a comedy. I've only watched a couple episodes of this, but I hear a lot of people talk about it. So it's not too new. I'm not exactly sure how many seasons are. I didn't write it down, but there's enough for you to stay busy. I want to say at least 4 or 5, and they're still making new ones. It's not old, it's not in the past, but if you start now with episode 1, you're gonna be like, oh, this is kind of dated, but it's still funny. It's kind of like nonsense. It's all about this one girl who was like held captive underground. Well, was she underground? Yeah, I think she was. And then she escapes, and she's like trying to live out her dreams in the real world, and she's trying to figure things out, life basically. It's just like, I don't know, Seinfeld, but nothing at all like Seinfeld. I don't know why I said that. But it's a comedy nonetheless. It's just like a whole bunch of ridiculous series of events. And yeah, if you want to have like a lighthearted good time, don't want to think and just laugh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh, this next one. I didn't even write bullet points for it because I just, there's so much to say about it. 13 Reasons Why. This is another one. Season 2 came out recently, and I binge watched the first season right when it came out, and I was sucked in. Okay, guys. 1, I am very naive. I'm a very naive person. 2, I grew up pretty sheltered. So a lot of stuff that happens and goes on in the real world, I'm like, what? No? Really? I am very ignorant. And so this show, I like this show. I feel like I'm not old enough to be watching this show because it covers, okay, first of all, it's high schoolers again, and it covers all the topics that no one really talks about. And it talks about them without apologizing. Like and it's very raw. They talk about depression and suicide mostly, and drinking, drugs, sex even. They talk about it all. And the main point of the show is just to open the conversation and be like, hey, kids these days, this is what they're talking about. Maybe not all of them, but you need to have an open discussion about your kids because this is the world today and this is how it is. And it really opened my eyes because I'm like, oh my, is this the world? I had no idea. But now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to prepare myself because, I mean, my oldest daughter is 7, but soon enough, she's going to be in middle school, high school, talking, thinking, seeing these types of scenarios and situations and having to deal with this kind of life, and maybe friends or oh my gosh, talks about violence, gun violence, abuse. Everything is in this show, and it's very, very well done. So yeah, it's a good one. Go check it out. All right, here's an oldie but a goodie. Dexter. Did any of you watch Dexter? I'm not talking about like Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter, this guy, oh, I forgot the actor's name, but he's got a new show coming out. I think it's called Safe. And but Dexter, back in the day, I think Dexter started in 2005 or 6, and it's ended now, sadly. But there's like, how many seasons? I want to say like 7 seasons? I don't know, I didn't write that down either, sorry. But it's very good, it's very well done. It's about a, oh, what is the name for him? It's a sociopath, and so he realizes he has these like tendencies to want to kill things, hurt things, harm things. And so he kind of in his mind turns it into good. So he only harms, he kills people. He only does that to bad people. So he had, I think his dad was a cop. I haven't seen it in a while. His dad was a cop, so it kind of like taught him the ways of how to do things and how to like not get caught. You know what I mean? It's such a good show. It's so well written, so well done. The acting is amazing. I think it's actually based off of books. The storyline is very, very good, and it keeps you like guessing week after week, like, oh my gosh, did that really happen? Yes, it did. And the best part about it is his job in real life, because obviously everyone has to have a job and make money and stuff. He is a blood spatter analyst, which is like, of course he is, you know what I mean? It's a very, very good show. So if you haven't seen it or heard about it, definitely check it out if you're into like that deep, dark drama stuff, okay? Maybe you're getting a peek into my life because that's like all that I'm into. Okay, Grey's Anatomy, that's the next one. Of course it's gonna be on my list. I love it. Netflix only has, no, all the seasons, Netflix has 14 seasons. I think they have way more than that now. Maybe. I don't know, I could be off, but this show is amazing. Even going back, I've rewatched this two times. Sometimes I go back and just randomly pick an episode. The show's so good, it almost makes me cry every episode, and it's a medical drama. If you haven't heard of Grey's Anatomy, just like lift up the rock and climb out of it and enter into the real world, okay? Because Grey's Anatomy is everywhere. It's been going on for years and years. I think it started in 2004. I was in high school and I lived it. Okay, Gilmore Girls, another oldie but a goodie. There are 7 seasons and then a 4-part series on Netflix. It's so good. It's a good mother-daughter show. It shows the relationship between a mother and a daughter, but really they're more like best friends, and it shows that kind of relationship. And then obviously like Rory, the daughter, has like relationship. It's like you watch them both grow up, and it's just a really good, family-friendly, no murders kind of show. It's a good one. Law and Order SVU. You guys know I'm obsessed with this show. Only 4 seasons are on Netflix. But if you want to get Hulu, they're all on there. I'm watching them from season 19 backwards, and I'm having such a good time, guys. I stopped watching the show for a really long time because of the the content of the show. So SVU is Special Victims Unit, and it's Law and Order, obviously. So there's a lot of courtroom drama. There's a lot of like catch this perp drama, and you learn all the cop lingo. It's so much fun to watch, and just almost every new episode is like a new storyline. They do have some where they're like clumped together, and obviously there's a bigger storyline with all the characters involved, but it's a great show, and yeah, Hulu has them all. You won't regret watching it. It's such a fun show to just watch and be like, wow. I feel like first of all, it's always on TV, cable. I feel like if you have cable, I don't. But also every time it's on TV, every time you see it on, you're like, oh my gosh. It's just such a good, like it draws you in, and you're like, wait, did they find him? Was he guilty? You know what I mean? It's a good one. And then like also Lieutenant Benson, my homegirl. What was that? Okay, 2 more and then a bonus. Stranger Things. I think my husband and I watched Stranger Things when the first season came out a couple of years ago, and I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. He really liked it, and I know a lot of other people like it. It's basically about it's very sci-fi. So it's about like a group of friends who like find this underworld where people can get like stuck in walls and stuck in like forests. It's kind of like what's that one movie? Narnia, but not as magical. Not at all. It's full of like monsters and darkness, and everyone thinks the mom is going crazy, but really she has like insight to the underworld, and she has glimpses of it, and it's weird and it's creepy. This is all I can say about it. Watch a trailer. You might like it, you might not, but I think you'll know from the trailer. Okay, the last one is my husband's favorite. I had to add it to my list. I asked my husband, I was like, what's on Netflix that you love? He's like, oh, what's that one show that I used to watch? Okay, it's called House of Cards. There are 5 seasons, and it's a drama with Kevin Spacey. It's more about like the government. I've never watched it, but that's my take on it. I think he's the president, Kevin Spacey, and I think actually he's not in the show anymore, or he won't be in the future shows because of the drama that's going on with him. But I think they're just replacing his actor. But everyone loves the show. It's really good, and I know there's a lot of drama having to do with like the United States government, right? It's not factual. And then I have a bonus for you. It's called Evil Genius, and this is another like How to Catch a Murderer kind of documentary. It is a documentary. There are multiple parts to it, and it's just weird. It's really weird, and it talks about, okay, so it follows I'm not even really sure how to explain it. So there's this woman who's clearly mentally unstable. She has like bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, something like that, and she makes like this master plan, and the first time she and her like lover, guy. They have a plan to rob a bank to get money, and they're just, okay, I can't even explain it right because it's just so crazy. Nothing really makes sense. But when you watch it, you kind of see like how mental illness can affect someone. And you see this woman who at a younger age was like, seemed to have her stuff together, and then as she aged and matured, you can see how her mental illness kind of took over her life. And for me, it was kind of sad to watch, and then also really intriguing to see, like, wow, people are capable of this. This could be happening next door, like my neighbor next door, because they're just like random people and they're doing these like really weird things with like a pizza guy and making him rob a bank and putting a bomb around his neck. It's crazy. And then like killing someone and putting them in the freezer, and then the guy calls up and says that like he had nothing to, it's weird. Guys, these documentaries this day, is there a documentary out there that's like, oh, here's little Susie, the girl next door, and she hasn't killed anyone ever in her life? Does anyone want to watch that documentary? Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video wasn't too long. I hope I gave you some good ideas on things to watch on Netflix. If you want me to do one on Hulu, I would love to, because you guys know I'm obsessed with all of it. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll hang out with you again sometime soon. Bye.